What it do, crew? So in today's video, I want to talk about the FIRE movement. And no, I'm not talking about a movement for Prince Zuko from the last Avatar to get his own spin-off, but a movement where young people are trying to reach financial independence and retire early. The thing is, this is not something new, but the concept of FIRE is something that I've thought about more and more as I reflect on where I'm at in my life. But the thing is, how do we do that? First thing that we got to do is first calculate what our FIRE number is. My name is Ver, and on my channel I talk about personal finance and my investing journey, so if you're into that, obliterate the like button and subscribe button. I'm turning 30 this year, so I have about another 30 to 40 years until I reach retirement, but at the same time in my life I want to have a kid, I want to grow in my career, and I also want to do a bunch of other cool stuff. But at the same time, I don't want to spend the next 30 to 40 years just to enjoy the last 10 to 20 years of my life. Why can't I just enjoy it now? Retirement is commonly known to occur around the age of 65, and we're always told fund your 401k retirement accounts or your Roth IRA accounts, and you cannot touch that money until you reach that age. So basically, it's like we're putting away money that we're not even going to be able to enjoy until we're at the latter part of our life. The crazy thing is not one size fits all, and there are some people who are able to retire just on their retirement account. There's some people who are still working more and past the age of 65 to keep funding their retirement account, or there are individuals who reach retirement and they just don't have any money saved at all. The world isn't what it used to be, and the standard of living just increases over time, and it's gone to some crazy heights as of recently. But let's go back to this whole FIRE movement. There are people out there who are financially independent as well as retiring early, and it's happening before the age of 65. So how do they do it? Well, let's start by defining what exactly FIRE is. Like I said, FIRE is an acronym for Financial Independence, Retire Early. And it's a whole movement that's been around, but it gained popularity in the recent decade. And guess who's to thank for that? Yes, millennials. If you know a millennial, thank them for this movement if you really appreciate it, but also blame the millennials for starting a movement that is telling them that they can just stop working. Besides the point, I'm personally a millennial, and that is kind of why I started looking into this FIRE movement. Anyways, the whole idea is for the FIRE movement is to continually increase your income while extremely decreasing your expenses to reach financial independence and retire early. These could be things like focusing on getting a higher paying job, or taking part-time work to make more supplemental income, or even establishing more income streams. But also on the flip side, it's also decreasing your spending, such as making your meals at home rather than eating out, or getting your coffee done at home, making your coffee at home instead of going to Starbucks every week. Also, living below your means. Instead of renting that penthouse apartment for $3,000 a month, just live with roommates where you rent out a room spending less than $500 a month, or to the extent of buying a home and renting out your rooms and house hacking. Besides all that, the general idea behind the whole FIRE movement is the 4% rule. And what is that, you may ask? This leads me to the point of actually calculating the number to reach FIRE. So the 4% rule is just a concept where one withdraws only 4% of their annual spending to where the money that is saved and invested in that account that they withdraw from never runs out. Or in even more simpler terms, taking how much you spend on an annual basis and multiplying that by 25. Here's an example to paint the picture a little bit better. Say there is a person who spends $40,000 a year and you multiply that by 25. Essentially, that person would just need $1 million saved and invested to where the dividends and interest would produce an amount to where they only withdraw 4% at a time per year, and they would never run out of that $1 million amount. Let's take another example for an individual who maybe spends a little bit more at $100,000 per year. If you do the math, you'll find that $100,000 is 4% of $2.5 million, or $2,500,000. This could be done because if you just take $100,000, multiply it by 100, and then divide by 4, you can find X. And if you've watched Mean Girls, you probably totally get what I'm saying.
48 over 120 equals X over 100, and then you cross multiply and get the value of X. Whatever, I'm getting cheese fries.
But if you don't, then that's just my millennial showing, and I'm sorry. But okay, so we gave a couple examples on how you can find the FIRE number of these amounts. So all you have to do is figure out how much you spend per year and multiply that by 25. If you found that, comment down below what your FIRE number is. There are many different types or forms of FIRE, but this is the most general one. I did a little bit of calculating, and me and my fiance spend about $50,000 a year, which would include our mortgage, our utilities, insurance, our expenses like on food, We don't eat out too much due to what's going on, and I make my coffee at home. Taking $50,000, multiplying that by 100, and then dividing by 4 gives us $1.25 million or $1,250,000. Basically what that means is if we wanted to retire, we would need $1,250,000 saved and invested to where we only live on 4% of that amount per year to cover our expenses. Anything else, we would have to, work for it, or we'd have to save and invest more. So since I'm turning 30 this year, I'm not gonna reach the retirement age of 65 for another 35 years. If we wanted to save that $1.25 million, we would just have to save around $35,000 per year together. But like I said, we want to reach that as soon as possible. When saving and investing money, it is actually a very good idea to track your spending because that will tell you how much you're not spending or saving. If we take our expenses, we know that number is going to be our income minus our savings, which if we observe the following bullet points, this is what comes out to be. At a savings rate of 10% per year, we take 1 minus 0.1, which is 0.9, divided by 0.1, we get 9. It takes 9 years to save 1 year of annual spending. At a savings rate of 25%, it takes about 3 years to get that 1 year of expenses saved. Now this is where it gets good. At a savings rate of 50%, we can actually save 1 year of expenses in 1 year itself. And the last benchmark that I have here is if you can save 75% per year, it would take only 4 months to save 1 year of expenses. If you notice the 50% to 75% savings rates, you notice that it can take you up to just 1 year or less to save 1 year of expenses. In the FIRE movement, basically pushing for 50% savings or more can really accelerate your way to FIRE. If me and my fiance were able to save at a rate of 50% per year, it would take us about 25 years to save that $1.25 million. Saving even more would make it so much shorter, but basically if we were able to save 50% of our income, 25 years to 1.25 million, we can retire in our mid-50s instead of at the age of 65. Point is, financial independence, retire early might be a new movement in the recent decade, but the thing is, if you think about it, it's been around for a while. I mean, if you can have someone who can hyper save their money, invest it, and then live off their dividends, where they're only living off that 4% or even less, you'll never run out of money and you'll be set for life. You can compare that to what we were taught growing up. I mean, you just go to school, get good grades, go to college, get a good job, and then work until you're age 65 to retire, and then that's it. The crazy thing is about those things that we were told growing up is we're told that you should get that job, work the 40 to 50 years, and then retire at the end of your life to just enjoy the last 10 to 15 years or even 20 years. But why should you work 40 years just to enjoy 10 years when you could potentially just work 15 to 20 years to enjoy your last 40 years? This is obviously a generalization and it does sound cool, but if there is one thing that comes out of this video, I hope it's that millennials, though we are known stereotypically to be lazy or wanting things handed to us, is we're making this movement blow up in popularity to where it's not just millennials doing it. You have the later generations doing it, and you have also the earlier generations doing it, still working on themselves to retire early. At the end of the day, we want to live a life we want to enjoy on our terms, and the reason for that could be the simple motivation that keeps us working hard and reaching our FIRE.
Many months later.
So with that said, everyone, thanks so much for watching the video. If you haven't already done so, remember to obliterate the like button, the subscribe button, and the notification bell so you know the next time I post a video on my channel. You can check me out on Instagram because I do have fun there. If you don't add me there, I'll still have fun, and that's okay too. But also, don't forget to check out Millennial Investments, a website with curated content to help you build your wealth, and we have some really cool swag too. So if you enjoyed the video or you learned something new, take that and get to work.